Hello, my name is Blake Shoemaker, and this is my presentation on the prophet Ezekiel and his book, the Book of Ezekiel. To begin, we will take a look at what was going on around the time of Ezekiel's life. Around this time, the northern kingdom of Israel had already been conquered and destroyed by the Assyrians, and only the southern kingdom of Judah remained. In 605 BC, Nebuchadnezzar became the king of Babylon, and Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, made an allegiance with him. However, this allegiance was broken by Jehoiakim when he decided to rebel against Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar then responded to this rebellion by sending forces to Jerusalem. In 597 BC, Jerusalem was subdued, and Jehoiakim's son, Jehoiachin, and about 10,000 other Jews, including Ezekiel, were exiled to Babylon. The Babylonians eventually laid siege to Jerusalem in 588, and in July 586 the walls were breached and the city was plundered. A month later, on August 14th, 586, the Temple of Jerusalem was burned to the ground. So, why is this information important? It is important for two main reasons. One, it shows that the reign of the house of David has come to an end. And two, it is interpreted by many as a consequence of Israel's unfaithfulness. Now that we've learned a bit about the time, let's take a look at the man himself. Ezekiel was the son of Buzi, who was a priest of Jerusalem and a member of the Zadok family. In 597, Ezekiel was one of the Jews that was exiled to Babylon. It was during this exile when God called him to become a prophet. Ezekiel was an active prophet for 22 years, with his last dated prophecy being received in April 571. Ezekiel was married and lived in his own house in Babylonia. There he served as a priest and a prophet that ministered to the exiles. He delivered his messages to the exiles in a variety of different ways, such as signs, visions, symbols, prophecies, and parables. His messages usually had much to do with the temple and its ceremonies. Ezekiel was known for acting out the divine word of God. He also believed that God had purposely ordained him to physical afflictions, such as paralysis of the tongue or the limbs, in order to keep him as a pliant instrument of God's will. Ezekiel was also known for his visions, with the two most famous being his inaugural vision over here on the left side and his vision of the valley of dry bones, which is over here on the right side. The inaugural vision. In this vision, God approaches Ezekiel as a man of glowing metal, riding in a divine chariot. This chariot is drawn by 4 living creatures, each having 4 wings and 4 faces, the face of a man, a lion, an ox, and an eagle. Beside each living creature is a wheel within a wheel, with tall and awesome rims, full of eyes all around. It is then when God calls Ezekiel as a prophet and as a watchman of Israel. The Valley of Dry Bones. In this vision, Ezekiel sees himself standing in a valley full of dry human bones. He is then commanded to carry a prophecy. The bones then begin connecting into human figures, becoming covered with tendon tissues, flesh, and skin. God then reveals the bones to Ezekiel as the people of Israel in exile. He then commands Ezekiel to carry another prophecy in order to revitalize these human figures, to resurrect them and bring them to the land of Israel. The book of Ezekiel can be summarized into three sections: the prophecy of judgment against Israel, the prophecy of judgment against other nations, and the prophecy of Israel's return. Section 1. The prophecy of judgment against Israel. Section 1 covers chapters 1 through 24 in the book of Ezekiel. Chapters 1 through 3 are Ezekiel's inaugural vision. Chapters 4 through 5 are symbolic acts portraying the siege of Jerusalem. Chapters 6 through 7 are oracles of divine judgment. Chapters 8 through 11 show the corruption of the temple and its consequences. Chapter 12 has Ezekiel symbolizing the exile of Jerusalem. And chapters 13 through 24 are oracles concerning God's judgment on Judah. Section 2. The prophecy of judgment against other nations. Section 2 covers chapters 25 through 32. These chapters contain prophecies against the nations of Ammon, Moab, Edom, Philistia, Tyre, Sidon, and Egypt. Section 3. The prophecy of Israel's return. Section 3 covers chapters 33 through 48. Chapter 33 is the renewal of Ezekiel's call as a watchman and Jerusalem's fall. Chapter 34 has the Lord to be Israel's shepherd. Chapter 35 is a prophecy against Edom. Chapter 36 is when Israel's complete restoration is announced. Chapter 37 is the Valley of Dry Bones vision. Chapters 38 and 39 are about the great battle of the ages. And chapters 40 through 48 are about the new order for a purified Israel. The great battle of the ages is worth mentioning because many believe that it is a prophecy that is yet to be fulfilled. In this prophecy, Israel must defend itself from a fearsome enemy known as Gog from the land of Magog. There are many different theories as to who this Gog from Magog character is. Some people believe it to be a nation or a coalition of nations, while others believe it to be a powerful person. Either way, God vanquishes this enemy of Israel, and all nations witness the power of Israel's God. After the great battle of the ages, God restores Israel and its priesthood, rebuilds the temple of Jerusalem, and fertilizes the land with a river of life, producing a lush vegetation. God then returns to his sanctuary in the temple, and all is good. Thank you for watching my presentation on the prophet Ezekiel and his book. I hope that you learned something. These were the sources that I used. The outlines that I used earlier for sections 1, 2, and 3 were pulled directly from www.biblica.com. The other sources that I used were the textbook that we have in this class, the jewishvirtuallibrary.org, and the jewishencyclopedia.com.